Hello YouTube Pixies. Right, some weeks ago I uploaded a movie about this output stage using germanium transistors and driver transformer LT44, output transformer LT700. I was quite surprised at its output, so at some point in the future I might build this whole system into an interesting looking box, as it does seem to have the same output as the ZVEX Nano smallest amplifier in the world. So we could call, so the outputs is similar amount. This is 480 milliwatts, whereas the ZVEX Nano, I think 500 milliwatts. Now, I haven't gotten around to describing the process, the building process of the preamp section, because what I thought I would do is concentrate on connectivity issues. Now, when I connected my guitar to the LT44 system, the germanium transistor amplifier, I used a pre-formed lead that consisted of it had crocodile clips on one end, and a jack plug on the other. Now I'm trying to, one of the reasons I upload these movies is because I've had quite a lot of pleasure out of electronics without, it's sort of like a lifeline for me. I need to have these interesting project ideas come up occasionally. Now, I would like to know there are other people interested in becoming amateur electronics engineers, and if you're young enough, of course, you could progress to become a professional electronics engineer, especially from my channel, perhaps guitars, electric guitars, that sort of thing, instruments. So I'm placing myself in the position of a complete beginner who would not have crocodile clips on the ends of cables to plug in guitars. So on eBay I found these. There would be information in the uploaded information. So what we're going to do is perhaps start with this plug. Now what it is, these things pop out. There's no need for that to happen, of course. But it means it's an easy means of connecting your electric guitar to any other piece of equipment you may have. Not necessarily if you want to build your own guitar amplifiers and build effects pedals, it's a good idea to have something like these items around. So now you could actually use something like this. This is RCA jack, but I don't think it's a good idea to connect any homemade equipment to a expensive piece of equipment such as your home theatre amplifier or your stereo system. I don't think it's a good idea to do that because there is a vague possibility of damage. So this is for one side left and this is right, or you can swap them around, but they're easy thermal connections. So a little while ago I was looking around for an item that is cheap enough that you're not going to complain if the thing gets damaged, and this is the Panther Gaming soundbar. Now when they say Panther Gaming, when they say gaming generally, they don't mean just gaming. I mean these things are suitable for any audio source. And what we might try to do later, I haven't tried this yet, but it will be an interesting experiment. Find a means of connecting this up to a guitar. I don't think if it does work at all, it will be very quiet. Now at the other end we've got this plugs into your USB socket, 5 volts, they always are. And this one is a stereo jack, and it can be connected to this, which is the stereo socket, and you can make connections to this. So the guitar can connect to any device by feeding wires out to it. Connect the wires straight into that, and you've got a means of connecting your gaming soundbar, Panther gaming soundbar, to your guitar. So obviously, the reason why I'm presenting that is because in the instance of the LT44 transformer coupled amplifier, it went straight into a speaker, so it wasn't an issue. But from the perspective of a complete beginner, we'll have a go at wiring these up so that we can connect the Panther soundbar to an electric guitar, see what it sounds like, and then perhaps progress onto a simple preamp to make it so it sounds better, and possibly add fuzz. Now this is about a metre and a half of what they call sort of cheap speaker wire, okay, or anything you want to use it for, like doorbells, that sort of thing. So this here is a pair of strippers, and this is adjustable, so that we need it adjusted so it's just big enough to not cut into the plastic, but not affect the copper. So now also on this wire you'll find that there's a rib. Sometimes there's an actual mark designating which end connects to which end. So of course sometimes it's a little a line, possibly. In this instance they've gone for a cheap option, they've used a rib. On the other side there is no rib, so we get these strippers and we go like that. Now I've got into the habit of folding the wire over, and I think it gives a bit more copper for a firmer connection. So this, I'm going to deal with the electric guitar end first. My screwdriver. So apart from these plugs that you can get, terminal plugs, you can also get screwdriver from Poundland. There's quite a few of them in stock when I last saw, and they've gone down to £3. These Panther Soundbars have gone down to £3, as opposed to a £5 is what they were. So on this here we've got a plus and minus. I mean, it's not absolutely essential to get them the right way around. It will still work. You'll just get a few more unwanted noises. So it's much preferable to get, if you've got a rib or any other marking which designates the polarity, the rib goes into the positive, so that goes in there, and we tighten up the screw. I do, not we. I don't know how many of us in here. Just me. There's another one. In fact, the person I live with, Gemma, she's on holiday at the moment, and I really find it a lot easier to, as much as I love Gemma being around, she's a great mate, I find it a lot easier getting on with stuff to do with uploading YouTube. Now this is the other end, which I've already, this is known as a 3.5mm stereo female connector with what they're called, screw terminals on the end. All available on eBay. I'll put links in the description. So then again, we're going to find the line. In fact, let's start with the one without the line first. That goes into the ground connection. There we go. Like that. Oh, it's a bit tight. Of course, if you unscrew this thing too far, the screw might pop out and you might lose it, so be careful, otherwise you have to send off for another one. I think the most expensive of these was this one, which was the 3.5 stereo socket. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to link the left and the right signals together. So I'm going to use a little piece of this wire here. We connect that to there, twist that round like that. There we go. And we can, using side cutters, in fact you could use scissors, but side cutters are always best. And I think it might be wrongly adjusted. Yes, it's got to be adjusted down for the other size of plastic covered stranded wire flex. So what we're doing at the moment, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm linking the left hand to the right hand because we only want a mono output. We want to join the signal from the left hand channel and the signal from the right hand channel on the amplifier, because the guitar that I'll be using in a moment has a mono output. In fact, there are guitars around with a stereo output. What they do, I think, is they've got a neck pickup and a bridge pickup, and they feed each one to different channel of a stereo amplifier, or perhaps two Marshalls distributed throughout the stage. An interesting thing I've noticed about this whole system, called the Panther gaming soundbar, £3 from Poundland, right, is the actual amplifier electronics is in this thing. I peeled one open and stuck it back together, and I thought, so it's I think it's an MTX 3007 digital amplifier. And the reason why digital amplification is taking over from analog is because it saves battery power. And your mobile phone is probably going to have a digital amplifier in it as opposed to analog, in order to make the battery in your phone lasting longer. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my little power, what they call it, power bank they call these. And that's going to plug into the USB. Immediately it comes on. Now, there's no switch on the Panther system because it was designed for a computer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect the stereo input to the Panther. And the other end goes into my guitar that very badly needs a set of strings. Okay, that's my ancient Hohner G3T. See if it works. This keeps going off because they're trying to save the power bank's power. Oh, terrible out of tune. Right, this is not surprising. Okay. That that's full blast on the, using the pickup, the on my Honer. I'm using the humbucker, which has got a higher output, and that's as loud. Whoops. That's as loud as it'll go. Okay. Now I thought, as an introduction project, we'd build a 1 transistor preamp and maybe turning it into a fuzz box. Okay, YouTube pixies and people that are not pixies that like to watch YouTube. Now, got this lump of wood, right? And this book, they're available quite cheaply as it happens. Audio Projects, FG Rare. I've seen quite a few on eBay, so they're not rare. Anyway, so we get the components list, which is 1.8 mega ohm. Got that. Where are we? Let's go through each individual one, make sure we've got it. That'd be the 270k. That would be the 1.8 mega ohm, which is, right, maybe go through the colours to make sure. 270k is starting from the left. It's a good idea to get to know your colour code. 270k is red is 2, purple is 7, and then you get the multiplier, which in this case is 4 zeros, so that's 270k. This one is 1.8 mega ohms, aka 1M8, which is I can't even see it, but I know the colours off by heart. That is brown, grey, green. So brown is the 1, grey is the 8, and the green is the multiplier, which is 5 zeros. And then you have the 47k, which is that one, R3, which is yellow, purple, orange. Now, not an awful lot of us YouTube people that upload stuff often find we haven't got the right values, so it's asking for a 220 microfarad 15 volts, so I know for a fact you can get away with 100, so I'm using that. And there's the 0.1, which is there, 0.1 microfarads, and that's this one. Also, it's got numbers on it, like 104, so that's 1 0 and then 4 zeros after that, so that's 100,000. PF, which is the same as 0.1 microfarad. And a transistor we've forgotten, so I'll get that in a minute. Okay, the project in this book is asking for a BC 109, okay, and as it happens, the BC 109 is not really easily available anymore, but what's happened is they've actually started to make plastic BC 109s, which is originally the BC 109 had a metal can. And obviously, because semiconductor manufacturing has steamed ahead since the 1980s or the 1970s, when the BC 109 was brought out, they standardised silicon manufacture for microprocessors and general electronic devices. They use the same silicon, I would guess. So this is what they call a BC549C. This happens to be the plastic equivalent to a BC 109. Now, the C designates that it's the highest possible gain in that group, but I'm fairly confident it will work. So it's a very high gain BC 109 in a plastic packet. Going to mount it on this lump of board. Now I've decided to put it right in the corner like that. The reason why, I'm hoping to use the same piece of board to build the germanium transistor preamp stroke driver stage that will be worked on fairly soon. So I think this is a 1mm drill that I'm using, okay, 1mm. And if you want to build this, I would strongly advise, this is the whole point of me building this, I want to encourage other people to do the same thing. So you look at the diagram and you can work out. Okay, so this line here is always the ground line, okay, goes all the way. That little symbol there means it's connected to the metal box if it happens to be inside a housing of some sort. So I'm going to, first of all, do the ground line. These are fairly short brass screws, and I've got washers in there as well. So this is going to be a one-stage transistor preamp. And actually what I can do is tell you why they say one-stage preamp. When I previously, at the first start of this movie, I plugged in the guitar straight into the Panther Soundbar amplifier. And what it says here in this book, preamplifiers and mixers, right? One stage preamplifier. Where volume is insufficient due to the input of the main amplifier being too low, i.e. the guitar doesn't give out enough to drive the soundbar, a preamplifier stage can be added to correct this. Such preamplifier is often included in a tone control unit to compensate for losses in the latter. That's what they call insertion losses, or it may be present in the main amplifier. Sometimes alternative inputs will be available so that the preamplifier can be placed in circuit or excluded as necessary. In this particular amplifier we've got like a bypassing system, but I'm not going to put that in because I don't think that it's necessary. It's not going to really serve any useful purpose at the moment. So using the circuit, I mean, I know this off by heart because I've built so many of them, you know. So of course this is the flat side of the transistor. This is your BC549C, okay. It's important to get it the right way around, otherwise it won't work, needless to say. Okay, so look, works a lot better with a screen lead. So only reason why I used a bit of double flex is because trying to help people like beginners that might want to have a try at building it. And now what's happening there is it does sound fuzzy. It's actually overloading quite a bit. Now what's happening there is because we've got a circuit which is meant for very low noise. Explain what's going on. We've got R3, which is in this case 47k. That means we've got a minuscule amount of current flowing through that resistor. I mean, might be worth actually checking to see how much current there is. We're talking about microamps. So what's happening is that the whole amplifier is fuzzing in the sense that it's being overloaded by the humbucker on the guitar.